Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. Actually what you're seeing here is pretty much my streaming setup, but I haven't done a YouTube video in like a couple of years for Wayward, so I thought I'd do just a little update, just kind of a impromptu development blog, log, whatever I used to call them, and go into some of the changes in beta 2.0. And yeah, this is not scripted or anything, so there's going to be awkward pauses like you just heard there, and I may do some jump cuts, so it might look a little odd. Here we go. There's going to be a lot of ums in here. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna see is the game not working. That's always fun. Let me just reset here. Take two. So the first thing you're gonna notice about 2.0, if you haven't already, I've kind of showed off a bit of the graphics, but what you first notice is the graphics. They've been completely overhauled. It's not 100% as you see here, like nothing here is 100% how it's going to end up, but you know, we're getting there. You'll also notice there's a female character as well now. I'm just gonna move around a bit here, show off some of the environments. And all the graphics are being redone by Goaticide, actually. So there's a lot less of my programmer art. Right now there's not any changes in the inventory, but there will be eventually. Lots of items will be changed in terms of the graphics. Another thing that you may notice as I'm walking around here is there's now smooth movement. So before, I should actually load up here. Let me do that right now. Load up the old version for some side-by-sides. So in the old version, there's no smooth movement, and movement is actually a lot faster here. But it's, you know, you step and you go a full tile. There's no transitions between each tile. In the new version, you'll see kind of a more natural, kind of Pokemon-esque kind of movement happening. And you'll also notice as I'm moving around here that the field of view and field of vision, those are the same thing, line of sight, there we go, are a lot more smoother as well. This is more of just kind of an aesthetic thing, but I think it adds a lot more atmosphere, especially when it gets dark out. And speaking of which, there is actually some changes with lighting, so I'll go over that right now. I'm just opening my console here, and we're gonna give ourselves a torch. Animal, fat, torch. So actually, I won't put it in my hand yet. I'm going to do a big kind of reveal kind of thing. So let's make it nighttime. We'll make it like dusk, kind of. So as you can see, it's starting to get a little bit, you know, a little bit darker here. Now, with our torch, as we equip it, notice there's colored lighting. Look at that. The torch makes a nice orange glow around me. Now I'm probably gonna get owned by these monsters. Which actually, I could go into something else here, another reveal. Are you ready for it? Jumping. And I'm also poisoned now. So before I continue on with jumping, I just kind of wanted to show off maybe a better example of the lighting here. I'll go in a cave. This will show off the lighting a little bit better, yeah. So much more atmospheric for sure. And actually, let's give ourselves a log. Okay, so I just stepped in my own fire, but you get the picture. So all natural fire sources have that kind of, you know, more realistic kind of glow and color to it. Another change as well is torches no longer stack, but you can still dual equip torches for an added bonus. It just won't give as much as a bonus. As I can see, I'm equipping 2 of the best torches now, and the difference isn't so great. Another thing is that there's now an ambient kind of flicker, as well as a default kind of a radius of light that will show around you now. A lot of you old school players will probably not know what I'm talking about, because only in the last version, the 1.9.2, I took out the lighting radius around you, so it's back in now. You can see yourself at least. Actually, there's some light source coming from the cave because it's not quite so dark out there yet. Let me just set the ambient light a little bit higher, so you can kind of see that the light is coming in from the entrance. So it acts as a light source. That's not really a new thing, I was just kind of showing it off. So I can go back into the jumping now. And I guess to introduce that, I should also... there's going to be a lot of ums in here, I'm sorry guys. There's now pathfinding, so the monsters now will pathfind to you. So... in a previous version of Wayward, this spider and this rat would actually just be stuck. They would never be able to get to you. But now, as you can see, they'll make their way around that whole thing completely and find you. So, because of that, because of how good they are at tracking you down, there was a couple problems. It was mostly to do with balancing and hardness of the game. The difficulty spiked up when that happened. So to combat that a little bit, we introduced jumping. Now, jumping is not like 100% savior. It won't save you all the time. For example, if I wanted to jump here, I wouldn't be able to because I can't double jump. I can only jump over one thing, like so. But it's going to help you in cases like this. You know, we've all been there. We've all been in this exact predicament. You're screwed, basically. If this was a bear, if this was a pirate ghost, I would be completely wrecked, right? So jumping at least gives you a chance of kind of escaping a little bit, now that the monsters are so good at pathing towards you. And as you can see, they still have that fall off. Like, they won't follow you 100% of the time. They may back off. They may lose interest. But now know that, you know, they will come get you. Probably something I should also mention is we've recently, with 2.0, moved over to TypeScript. When you build to JavaScript from TypeScript, you compile it, and this offers us the ability to do things like strict type checking, you know, error checking, you know, like all the kind of compiling error stuff that you see in traditional programming languages. So that's kind of a big plus to it. And it also adds ES6 features like enums, classes, modules, interfaces, default parameters on functions, so it adds a lot of nice stuff for us. And you know, overall it's been kind of a positive experience, and I'd like to say the two people that kind of spearheaded that and spearheaded a lot of kind of what you're seeing here now is Spacetech and Sassafrass, and they've helped me a lot. They did stuff like the lighting and the FOV and, you know, the rendering, which is also WebGL, by the way. I wouldn't be able to do that without their help, so, you know, they get a clap. I'm not gonna actually clap. All right, what else we got here? So weight limit changes. I can go over that if I can get away from these guys to show that off. Oh, that's also another thing. I'm too exhausted and overburdened to make the jump. So, you know, jumping isn't going to save you 100% of the time. You need to have stamina. You need to have the right kind of scenario. And I think I'm dead, actually. I think I just died. But you know what? I'm the developer. I don't get to die. We'll also set our stamina up, so I can jump over these guys. So we're gonna run far away now. This rat really likes me. Alright, so we lost him. And so weight is a little bit different now. So before, what happened is you'd become overweight and you'd walk and lose stamina and then get hurt. Now there's kind of like a kind of intermediate stage of being overweight, and it first goes encumbered and then you become overburdened. So when you're encumbered, or did I get that the other way around? I don't know. Okay, let's test it. So I just gave myself a stone wall. That wasn't quite enough. So I am overburdened. So I did get that right. Overburden is what you're used to in Wayward. So every move, it's really slow to move around and you're losing stamina very, very quickly. There's also a first stage to being overburdened now, which is encumbered. I'll just give myself a bunch of large rocks. So now I'm encumbered. So I'm technically not losing any stamina, but it is giving me a notice, and a hint would actually pop up here that I'm encumbered now. I'm close to being overburdened, basically. And so I'll get the penalty for movement speed, and I'll also get a penalty to stamina, but it won't take chunks off my stamina. It just will stop me from regenerating. And I should also mention, going back to a previous thing. Sorry, this isn't scripted, so I'm just like kind of going off on random tangents here. This is WebGL, so this allows us to do a lot of things, and some of the things are actually what I showcased already, is the colored lighting, the FOV improvements, the graphics, and also stuff like this. Now, this is a feature that probably won't be in the game. This is kind of a developer thing happening. But if you were to try to do something like this with the 2D canvas, it wouldn't work. It would be just way too slow. So WebGL allows us to do crazy things. So I'm very excited to see like what we come up with this kind of thing. As you can see here, it's moving, you know, 100% of the speed. Everything's good. Can zoom all the way in as well. Again, it's this probably won't be in here because this is pretty overpowered, but it's just kind of a debug thing right now. I just kind of wanted to show off some of the speed improvements with the WebGL that it brings. Again, I'd like to thank Sassafrass for that one. Another thing to mention actually is save slots. So this has been a long requested thing, and I'll just show off that. Reload the page. And we're going to create a new game. So now we have slots here. You can see all the ones we have saved, as well as make new ones. If you try to go on the same slot that's already has a save in it, it'll warn you, and you know, all that fun stuff. So you can continue a game, and you can see both the games now. So let's just go back to our first one. And I'd like to thank Spacetech a lot for that one. We are now using IndexedDB, which gives us a lot more space. There was originally some issues with it. There's a lot of issues with IndexedDB. Part of the problem is it's an asynchronous API, and that causes all sorts of problems when you want to do auto-saving. So actually what happens when you're reloading the page, it's actually saving that game to local storage, which is what we used before. And then when you load, continue into the game, then it brings it back into IndexedDB, because there's no actual way to save a bunch of data and have it not corrupted, especially when we're saving a lot of data to IndexedDB, unfortunately, because it's asynchronous. That was just kind of a random technical tangent, but that's what these videos are for, right? Let's do high scores. So, as you can see here, I've died a lot, and now it actually shows these undefined things. Don't worry about those. That was just a debugging thing or a testing thing. So now you can see exactly how you died and how many times you died, and at what talent. This is local. It's not like a server-side thing. It's not multiplayer. It's just kind of a little, a little bonus for your playthroughs, basically. So speaking of stuff that kind of lasts over multiple playthroughs is Milestones. And with Milestones before, we were limited to counter-based milestones. So like craft 250 items or cook 25 foods. Now we have specific context-sensitive milestones added, like Grandmaster, get a skill to 100%, or prepared, equip something in each equipment slot. So it's not equip, 10 things. It's context-specific things that we can add to now. Cure each status effect, things like that. Speaking of equipment stuff, actually, let's give us a iron breastplate. There we go. So one thing that you may have noticed actually when I was walking down the caves and equipping the torch and stuff is things aren't actually moved out of your inventory anymore. So that has a couple purposes or functions. Before, you weren't able to do things like this. Have a torch equipped. It's already equipped. And also have it in your quick slot item. So now you can have it in both places at once and use the functionality in each place, in each context. This also helps out with stuff like, you not realizing you have stuff in your inventory because it's in other places, like you're wearing it or it's down here. There's a couple of things I want to change to this is, when something's equipped, I'd maybe like to have like a little E right here, or if something's quick slotted, like say we quick slotted this shale in 6, I'd like to have maybe a little 6 so you could see what things are equipped and what things are quick slotted, but that's a kind of a future addition, I think. So another thing that's pretty cool is every single random interaction in the game now is run through a seed. So we had a pseudo random number generator before in 1.9.2, but it wasn't really consistent. You can have a consistent playthrough. So now what we can do is have each exact playthrough be each exactly the same. So to kind of showcase that, I'll just import a save here. So we're going to open our save game that I imported, just to kind of show you. So with the pseudo random number generator, we can move down here. You can see this fire elemental is following me. You can step over this pineapple. You can see exactly where this guy is. Let's close out of those. You can see that he sets a fire down. And we can see he does 18 damage, 13, and eventually 15. Now, this is actually going to go to our slot 4 when I continue. But what we're actually going to do is just re-import that save. So if we follow the exact same pattern, we're going to get the exact same results from our random number generator. So 18, 13, 15, and the fire was there, and he followed me in the exact same way. So that's just kind of a showcase of what that means. Another thing that you might have noticed as I was kind of walking around, the numbers in the action menu. So what do these mean? It's basically just a hotkey. So now instead of needing to, press Q, or if you use the mouse, press actions, move all the way over here and click, you can now do a Q and 2, right? Or a Q and 1 to inspect, or a Q and 2 to drink. And I just drink seawater. I don't recommend that. Or a Q and 2 to pick up, that kind of thing. Or 3 to jump. It's going to complain that I have no stamina after that. Just kind of a small thing, but it adds a lot more usability, I find. So also something else you might have noticed is seedlings. And let me see if I can find some. Actually, let me pick these flowers up. Might be able to show you easier that way if I can't find any. You've probably seen some as I was moving around. Here's a couple. So this is a big balance change, and it's to do with plants. And so no longer when you plant something does it automatically grow into what it's supposed to. So if I go ahead and plant these flowers, they're flowers, but they're growing. They're in the growing stage, and it's going to take a while for them to get to flowers. And then from there, they germinate out. Not germinate, that's the wrong word. They germinate, and then they spread out once they're fertile and fully blossomed. The same goes with this cotton. That's kind of what this cotton is doing. It doesn't grow cotton outside of cotton. It grows these kind of intermediate versions of cotton, so growing cotton. And that pretty much is the case with most things, except for like saplings, for example, because saplings are already saplings. If you plant a sapling, it's going to be a sapling. And if you try to pick up a growing cotton, for example, you basically just destroy it. So when you harvest, you want to make sure you harvest the full adult version of it. And then from there you can plant more cotton. So it's kind of just a balancing thing. It stops cotton from, it stops like every kind of plant from just like overgrowing. It also, same thing with mushrooms actually. So as you can see, these mushrooms are growing. They're not the full thing yet. One nice thing about these growing things is you can't trample them. Again, that's kind of just you know, an intentional design choice. You can only trample the big things, the adult things. I'll show you with this cotton over here. Rest in peace, cotton. So yeah, anyways, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I'm not sure how many jump cuts I did in the editing. I screwed up a lot, so there might be a couple. I'm sorry about that. I know it's like a standard YouTube thing to do jump cuts, but they're kind of annoying. Anyways, let me know if you have any questions or if you want me to show off more. This is just kind of a rough overview of kind of the stuff that's been going on behind the scenes. If you want to find out more, be sure to follow me on Twitch and watch me stream some Wayward development. I do it usually 2 to 4 times a week. Yeah, and I also stream some other games too, so if you like that kind of stuff, follow me. Follow me. Alright, so that's a creepy ending, so I'll see you guys later.